Having worked as a night manager at a quaint hotel in the city for many years, I thought I'd seen it all. Every guest, every face, every request. Nothing surprised me anymore. That was until one particular night when a man who introduced himself as Mr. Porter checked in. Mr. Porter was an odd man. He was tall, thin, with a haggard face, restless eyes, and his suit was threadbare and aged. His arrival was late, somewhere around midnight, and he had a specific request. He wished to be accommodated in room 305 on the top floor. There was an urgency in his voice and a haunted look in his eyes that set me on edge, but I complied. As the night grew quieter and the city slumbered, I settled into the usual rhythm of my work. However, a few hours into my shift, an unexpected sound shattered the silence. It was a loud knock echoing through the hallway, a rapid and insistent sound that seemed to come from the direction of room 305. With every step I took towards room 305, my heart pounded louder, mirroring the knocking that filled the otherwise silent hotel. As I finally reached the door, the knocking abruptly ceased. I knocked in return, calling out Mr. Porter's name, but received no response. With the master key, I unlocked the door, half expecting to find Mr. Porter in some sort of distress. But the room was eerily empty. The bed was untouched, the bathroom pristine, and the suitcase Mr. Porter had brought was nowhere to be found. The only thing out of place was the window left wide open, the curtains fluttering in the cold wind that had a howl of its own. Mr. Porter had vanished as mysteriously as he had arrived. The room, now empty of its occupant but filled with the chill of the night, was a chilling testament to the enigma of the evening. The remainder of my shift passed in a haze of unease and apprehension, the phantom knocks a disturbing echo in the silent hotel. In my tenure as a housekeeper at one of the city's most prestigious hotels, I've had countless encounters with guests from around the world. Each room holds a story, each guest a novel. However, room 207 has always been an anomaly. There's something uncanny about it, something that seems to unsettle even the most seasoned travelers. Over the years, guests who've stayed in room 207 have often reported strange happenings. Disturbances in the middle of the night, shadows that seem to move on their own accord, and eerie noises that can't be traced to any source. Despite the many complaints, investigations into these incidents have always come up empty. The room is pristine and inviting as any other. However, one night changed my perspective on this matter. Following the abrupt checkout of a particularly distraught guest, I was tasked with preparing room 207 for the next occupant. The room felt different that night. There was a distinct chill in the air, an unnatural coldness that seemed to seep into my bones. It was a frosty contrast to the otherwise warm ambiance of the hotel. As I went about dusting and straightening, I couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. A shiver ran down my spine, my senses heightened. I couldn't pinpoint what was off, but the room felt hostile, the atmosphere dense. Just as I was about to leave, a soft whisper filled the room. My name, it seemed, was being called out in a voice barely audible. Startled, I turned around to an empty room, the echo of my name still lingering in the air. My heart pounded in my chest as the reality of the situation set in. The stories about room 207, it seemed, were more than just stories. Working as a bellhop at the city's busiest hotel meant I encountered a plethora of guests, each with their unique quirks and tales. Over time, you get accustomed to the patterns and peculiarities of guests. However, there are some instances that sear themselves into your memory, standing out from the mundane routine. One such incident took place on a stormy night when a couple checked into the hotel. They were an odd pair, weary from travel, and without any luggage save for a small ornate box that they carried with an air of protective caution. Their room was on the 5th floor, and I escorted them up, the box catching my attention with its exquisite antique design. During the course of the night, I was on one of my rounds when I heard a strange noise emanating from their room. It was a soft, low hum, almost like a melody, serene yet unsettling. The door to their room was slightly ajar, and through the gap, I could see the glow of the box. It was open, an eerie green light spilling out, casting uncanny shadows on the walls of the room. The humming grew louder as I neared the room, an invisible force that filled the hallway. There was a pull, a strange sensation that I couldn't shake off, and then I felt it. a chill running down my spine, my heart pounding in response. Fearing the unknown, I retreated, leaving the mystery of the box and its strange melody unsolved. Working as a receptionist at a bustling hotel, I've had my fair share of experiences, ranging from the delightful to the bizarre. My responsibilities included managing room bookings, handling check-ins, and essentially ensuring the smooth running of the front desk operations. However, one night introduced a mystery that I couldn't quite solve. Room 404 was unoccupied that night. It had been for a while, the keycard lying dormant in the drawer behind the desk. However, in the stillness of the night, the phone rang, the shrill sound slicing through the silence. The caller ID displayed Room 404. Surprised, I answered the call, holding my breath as I brought the receiver to my ear. What I heard sent a shiver down my spine. It was the sound of heavy, labored breathing, a terrifying sound that echoed in the silence of the room. There were no words, just this unsettling breathing that seemed to get louder with each passing second. Without warning, the call ended abruptly, the dial tone echoing in the stillness. The eerie phone call left me shaken, my heart pounding in my chest. The rest of my shift was spent in heightened alert, the chilling memory of the phone call a grim reminder of the unexplainable mysteries that the hotel harbored.